The adopted son. Adopted son.
Yeah, but that's different though.
What is different about that?
That adoption, depending on what society you're from, might not be something that...
No. In his society, he could adopt. So he did adopt him when he was a child.
But in his society, they also worshipped stones and...
Right.
Yeah.
So when he's saying that because of Islam told him to not adopt him or de-adopt him or whatever. So because of Islam, I said, no. It's because he lusted after his wife, Zaid's wife. And then Allah, in your Tabari, is saying that Allah made Zaid dislike her or unattractive to her. I'm like, Allah is involved in this too, to just so that he can fulfill because he went to his house, and he wasn't there, and his wife he saw her nude, and he said, Allah made my heart flip for you, right? So this is from your source. So if this is the case, then that cannot mean that he left. He said, don't adopt anymore because of Islam. It means because of Muhammad's affair with his daughter's sons.
Affair? Well, that's quite deep.
It's okay. Let's not use affair. What would you use when he says, "Bless Allah for flipping my heart for you" when he sees her naked? What would you call it? Flirtation?
Oh, he saw her naked. I think that's not offensive.
It is. You want to see it? Okay. Read it.
Tabari.
Read it loud so I can hear it.
Okay, yeah. One day Muhammad went on looking for Zayd. There was a convenient hair cloth over the doorway, but the wind had lifted the covering so that the doorway was uncovered. Then was in a chamber dressed in admiration for her entered in the heart of the Prophet after Allah made unattractive to Zayd. You see this one?
So undressed, what does undressed mean?
She was naked. But is this
Tabari. Look at it.
Is it in Bukhari or?
This is Tabari. This is volume 8. You can look this up.
Because it's very strange. It seems very like a strange narration because it's like the only person who
Tabari is supposed to be a very respectable narrator.
But
he's not somebody like nobody knows who Tabari is.
I'm saying the translation, the narration seems very strange because it means one of the two things. It means that the Prophet was telling people that he saw someone naked, or it means Zainab saw the Prophet looking at him, and she's telling people.
What's
that
your
he
name,
saw me
sir?
naked.
I'm just Dawood. Listen, you seem very reasonable and a nice person, and I respect that because I like to do great. Because my friend over here used to be like you, but now I don't know what happened to him. He's just turned on me. But anyways, so I'm just going to say this to you. You're very. Let's go with your story, what you just said. But there's a problem with that story. Let me tell you why. Because after this event, there are certain things that transpired in response to this event. This incident, rather.
Given it's true, right?
Well, no, I mean, is it or is it not true that he de-adopted Zayd?
No, I mean, I'm specifically talking about him seeing the nakedness of that seems very strange to me.
But this is from Tabari. If you're saying that Tabari narration is incorrect, this is something that happens all the time. When you bring something, Tabari, okay, let me say this, to respond to your thing, to be honest, nobody has ever disputed it. Let's just put it out. There is no literature or any tradition where it says this thing that he's talking about, it has weak narration.
I'm sure there's commentary on it.
There's commentary, but this is like a known fact. It's not something that, oh, this is very obscure fact, nobody ever knew about, or this is written about, but it's kind of like shady, nobody knows this is right or wrong. This is very well known, this whole thing, because it triggered some very important events. Because after this, there was certain things that happened because Muhammad, all of a sudden, Zayd had never had any problem with Zainab, never.
Okay,
now all of a sudden, because you said Allah made him unattracted to her, or she made her unattracted to him. So now Allah is involved in this.
I'm just specifically wary, and I've read about this event, the Tabari, because the nature of a Tabari, and we talk about this every week to the Christians, the Tabari is not a book. The structure of the book.
No, I'm talking about the writer, Tabari. He's very reliable.
Of course he is, but I'm saying that if you, from what book is it? From
Tabari, volume 8.
Is it Tafsir?
It is probably Tafsir, yeah.
Yeah. And Tafsir is an explanation of
what?
Of the Asbab al-Nuzul, of why the verse was sent down.
Okay, so that means this is a commentary on a Quranic verse.
Yeah, so it's always a potentiality that something took place, but sometimes if I may, sometimes there are certain
Should we get out of this crowd? Can we move over please a little bit? Just we are in a very crowded place. Okay, sorry.
I kind of had, unfortunately.
Oh,
don't
you
have
want to stay? Okay,
here,
let's
yeah.
just stay here. Okay, fine.
No, I was just saying quickly, and I don't want to get into
Okay.
this too deeply. I'm
No,
just
no.
saying that sometimes there are certain ayats that are revealed, and then the asbab al-nuzul, as in the reasoning for the revelation, has two different stories why certain things happen. So a Tabari, sometimes, he mentions things because he collects everything that could potentially be the reasoning for it. That's why sometimes you find that Muslims say, well, it's a Tabari, but this fact has been disputed because there's a different narration why this verse was sent down.
Well, okay, so this is not a theological point that we're discussing. This is just a matter of fact issue. You know, whether or not this event happened. So it's not like some kind of a theological issue whether this thing is correct.
Are you
or that.
referring to the event that he married his...
No, I'm referring to just this event where he went to the house
Yeah.
and saw her and commented on that, on what she saw.
I think it's disputed. It's a very disputed fact from what I've read about it. It's very disputed.
Can you show me anywhere where it's very disputed? Anything
Yeah, I can
credible?
Google it. I can Google
Yeah.
it.
Okay, if you can, that would be very helpful because then because no Muslim is doing that.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, everybody knows that this is the only. Because here's the thing. If this was some kind of a theological issue,
Yeah.
then you can have like 2 or 3 different opinions. No, it doesn't mean this, it means that. No, it doesn't mean that, it means actually this. Now that's a different story, and I understand that. But this is just an event. If either it's disputed, this never ever happened.
Yeah.
This is complete, or it happened.
Yeah,
That's all.
But you know the dilemma that you have, especially when it comes to tasfir, is that you're very limited to as what resources you have and you can look into. A Tabari, why is a Tabari so popular with Muslims and non-Muslims in the English-speaking world? It's because his thing is translated. His stuff has been translated. But there's so many more Quran commentators that will have a different opinion as to why this was revealed. And this happens all the time once you start looking into the...
But now the thing is, this story historically is not something that is like a big disputed point in Islam, because this is just something that is well known. It's not something that is
What
like.
does Ibn Kathir say about this? Does he agree?
I haven't looked up. If you look it up,
That's what I'm trying to say.
if you okay, listen. If you have something, you can say, look, this proves that this never happened, and you want to show me whatever. That is your prerogative, and I'm not going to say yes or no. That's your. If you have it, show it.
Yeah.
However, as far as, and I've known Muslims since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I have heard this story since I was a kid. I've talked to Muslims. Nobody has ever said that this didn't happen. Nobody. Only when I bring it up here in the park, all of a sudden, Tabari is a liar. This story doesn't have a good narration. This story, what is the proof? All of that stuff comes down once you bring it up. If you don't bring it up, nobody brings it up. Okay. The problem is this, that they're saying that adoption was because of Islam has this Allah. I'm saying, wait a minute. Allah didn't bother to make that rule until it became an issue where Muhammad was attracted to his son's thing, and that son was adopted. And now all of a sudden, adoption is...
But you see, so just understanding how the Quran functions, you find that so the Quran, or Allah, will respond to, sometimes it would reveal instructions, it would reveal wisdom, but sometimes Allah also responds to situations, and that happens quite often. For example, there's one scenario. Hi there. We're recording something right now.
Us guys, we're similar.
I think we have another
Arabs
conversation
and
about it.
Africans, we're the same. But you're not. You're not. You're different. We look down on you really badly. But
You guys are camel herders. That's what your prophet
we're the
is.
same Africans.
He drinks camel urine, your prophet. He tells you to drink camel urine. How can you look down on somebody? I pity you
You're
and your
talking
prophet
about
and your
someone else.
religion, because you guys you come from something that's like so backward. Not
Camel
even like camel urine. Listen, you're on my camera.
Drink camel
So
urine.
your
Seven
prophet
ajwa.
is a
Seven ajwa, the
child
camel urine.
molester. Your prophet is a child molester. Go get married to a young girl
licking
Drink
the bum.
camera and 7 ajwa.
Go, Mary.
Your mom.
Here's Sam Dawood. Hey, come
You lick
here.
your mum's bum.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. There you go.
Drink
So,
camera.
why did your Muhammad
Your
you have to
mom
marry
licks bum.
like a
Your
really,
mom.
really young girl? All right.
And they eat 7 ajwa. You know 7 ajwa and camel urine.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
mix
yeah,
Come
together.
out your mum's bum.
So do you drink camel urine?
They drink camel urine.
All right. That's the park. Another day in the park. Islam is from the devil. These people are lost. We're here so the people watching this know how false Islam is, because we are here in the trenches dealing with
Islam
Islam.
doesn't have a feet now. It's collapsing.
Jesus is Lord, the way, truth, and the life.
Amen.
Islam is false.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.